Hello everyone, it's Stuart Bladen, your Vice Captain speaking, and thank you for flying with us today. We're going to be tying the Daioni in this video. It's a Welsh top dropper and sea trout fly created by Steffan Jones. Our hook today will be a 4 Trout number 590U size 6 in a lovely blue finish. And our thread is a Uni 80 in black. I'm just going to turn the hook sideways so that you can see the folded eye. I'm going to have to tie in 2 or 3 layers of tinsel to fill in that gap and to give us a smooth body, and I'll show you how I do this as I go along. So first of all, I'm going to tie the next ingredient just behind the gap. This will be a Uni oval tinsel, small in silver. So I'll just turn the hook so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to tie it in just where the fold of the eye finishes. I'm going to move it around so it starts to fill that gap. Quickly run the thread down through to the bottom. Now, how long should a tag on a salmon fly be? I prefer mine long. I think they're more elegant, and particularly with this hook, it's got quite a long point before you get to the barb. So take your time and take 6 or 7 turns of the oval tinsel. You'll notice that I stopped the thread just as I came to the point of the hook, so that's where the bed of thread finishes, and I'll quickly tie it off. I'm going to leave the waist, and I'm actually going to wrap it up the shank alongside the original piece, and again I'm using this to help fill the gap. So I'll tie it up to where the folded eye comes back to. I'll turn it again so that you can see. Make sure the tinsel finishes just behind there. And then I'll fold it back and take it back again, and this continues to help to fill the gap, and it also then positions the tinsel ready to be the rib. So let's just get that out of the way and get ready for the next ingredient. This will be a Vineyard holographic silver tinsel in medium. So put it underneath the thread, loop it round, that's the easiest way to position, pull it so that it's the right length, again to fill the gap. This is the last piece that really helps fill the gap. Now you'll notice before that I did fairly loose wraps as I did the oval tinsel. For this one I'm actually wrapping much more closely. I want a much smoother effect on the body here, so that when I wrap it with the silver tinsel I get a nice neat body. So I take that up to the point where the metal is folded back. Quickly just snip off the waist up, missed a bit. There we go. You notice there we are, the gap's now almost full. Right, now I'm going to use the rest here, so I'm going to put in a quick whip finish. And I'm going to use the rotary feature on my vise to tie in this tinsel. It gives you a neater job, but strictly speaking, it's probably not essential on this fly given that it's palmered, but I think it does give you a better quality, more even effect. So you just hold the tinsel steady at a constant angle, make sure you start at the back, and then quickly wind the hook through, and it gives you a very smooth, neat body where there's a constant angle of application of the material. And then quickly tie it off. I'll do a couple of wraps round, move the bobbin rest out of the way. Swap hands, do turns outside to help lock it, swap hands again, do a final tie. That'll now never come undone. Take off the waist. Now for the palmer, we'll be using a Vineyard Chinese cockcape in washed white, and you always need to use a feather that's one size smaller than the hook. So in this case, I'm going to pick out a size 8 feather because this is a size 6 hook. So quickly tie it in. And I'll start this palmer by sweeping back the fibres and then putting 2 full turns at the front to give a nice bushy effect at the front of the fly. So there's 1 turn, there's turn number 2, and then I'll start coming back down the hook. Now the Daioni is best as quite a bushy fly. It's intended to have quite a different profile in the water compared to other flies. That's one of the key things about its attractiveness. So once I get to the bottom, just quickly maneuver around the hook, I will then trap the palmer with the rib by counterwinding the other way. Just release the hackle plier and then take the rib up the fly, wiggling it slightly as you go through so that you don't trap any of the fibres. And when I get to the head, I'll quickly go through the head hackle 2 turns and then give a full turn to the front. This gives a lot of strength to the fly. Quickly tie off the tinsel twice round, 3 times, then go around the outside, swap hands again, go around the inside, and this really locks off the tinsel. Make sure it can't come free. Now those of you who've watched a number of my videos before will be familiar with this tool. It's a Boots eyebrow brush. Make sure you get one with a metal comb for durability. I do get some funny looks when I go in to buy it. Just quickly remove just the tip of the feather at the back of the palmer and sweep everything back, and now I'm going to overwrap the last turn of tinsel and first turn of hackle. That makes the fly very strong. For the flash, we'll be using Vineyard Crystal in silver. Now I always cut a notch in the side of the packet. That allows me just to extract the strands that I want for the particular fly, whilst leaving all the rest of the flash in good condition for the future. It just makes your material last longer. So I've taken out 3 strands, which I'll then cut, leaving the rest undisturbed in the packet. And slide the 3 strands underneath the thread and round, and adjust it to approximately the back of the bend of the hook is the size that you'll want on this. Once you're happy with that, lock it off. And then take the flash round, wrap it down a couple of times, and then hold it in position to make up the other side. So I've got 2 lots of 3, that's 6 strands of flash, which is quite a lot of flash for this. But I think it gives a nice effect when it's underneath the black wing that we'll tie on next. So quickly wrap that in so that it's secure, and then make any final adjustments that you like to the length of the flash. Remember to always cut them individually. It's very unnatural to cut them all off at once. So we've got a couple here that are a bit long, so I'm just going to take those off individually. Make sure that I'm happy with the way that they're sitting. There we go. That's a bit better. Our wing will be making out of Finnish raccoon. It's a lovely material, this, a piece of pelt. So quickly take off a piece that you want. Visually at this stage you probably want about 1.5 times the amount of hair that you actually want on the wing, because we'll be taking out the guard hairs and the underfur, just leaving the central portion of the hair. So take it off. Oh, missed a bit. It's a bit clumsy. There we are, take it off, and now I'm just going to take that and pull out all the guard hairs at the top, just leaving the soft middle layer. And then back to the Boots eyebrow brush and make sure that you comb out any of the small hairs at the bottom. This will make the tying in point much easier and neater. And the key to all these wings is very much in the preparation. Then measure it to size. 1, 2, 3 wraps quickly and neatly on the top of the hook. And if you've done the prep right, there you are. Fine first time. Take away your excess with a really sharp pair of scissors. Sweep everything back and then tie that hair in good and proper so that it won't come out. Now our front hackle will be a Whiting 4B hen cape in Kingfisher Blue. Now I love these hen capes from Whiting. The feathers are big, soft, they take beautiful colour, and they, 2 or 3 turns gives you a really nice splash at the front. They're getting rarer now. I think Whiting's moved on. So when I was last at BFFI, I ran around and bought every one I could get my hands on. So I've got a good stock of these in every colour that you could possibly want. So tie in the anchor point that you've quickly cut, and take your hackle pliers. I like the CNF hackle pliers, I always use them. Sweep back the fibres. And again, this is supposed to be a bushy fly. Remember, it's supposed to have a different profile, so I'm probably going to give this a good 3 or 4 turns of hackle. This is a lovely dense hackle, gives it a nice splash of colour at the front of the fly. You know you've got the hackle sized about right when the tips of the hackle just touch the point of the hook. That's what you're aiming for in terms of the proportion. Yeah, that looks about right. So trap that in. Fold back the point, trap it in. That makes again for a very, very strong hackle that won't come apart. Take out the tip and then form the head, and I'm going to overwrap the first few turns of the head hackle. That stops them being cut by the teeth of a salmon or a sea trout and makes for a much, much more durable fly. Quick whip finish. And there you have it. So back to the eyebrow brush, give it a little bit of a prune. Make sure that the hackle's lying nicely. It can sometimes twist when you tie it on. And there you are, the Daioni. It's Welsh for it does you good. And it certainly does me good to see one of these on the vise. Thank you for watching.